Welcome back to Channel 58 SPEA News. I'm Alex and we have some breaking news in the studio. The Supreme Court just heard the McCutcheon v. FEC case. We're going to break it down for you. The Federal Election Campaign Act, which is a piece of legislation created by the FEC, currently sets a cap on the amount of monetary donations an individual can make to a single candidate, as well as an aggregate limit of the total amount an individual can make to give to any number of candidates or political committees. Alabama resident Sean McCutcheon, as of September of 2012, had contributed over $38,000 in total to 16 candidates. McCutcheon wanted to contribute to 12 other candidates and to increase his donations, but in doing so, he would have violated the FECA's aggregate limit. McCutcheon filed suit in the District Court for D.C. alleging that the aggregate limits violated his First Amendment right of speech. So the key question here is, do aggregate limits on individual political contributions infringe upon the First Amendment right to freedom of speech?
Thanks, Alex. I'm reporter Andrea Teston, here to provide a context for the McCutcheon case. It combines legal principles from a variety of cases throughout history. But for today's purposes, we'll just focus on two of those cases. So let's backtrack to the year 1976. In the landmark case Buckley v. Vallejo, the court made two decisions regarding contribution and expenditure limits in the Federal Election Campaign Act. The first was that the government has a compelling state interest to avoid the reality or the appearance of improper influence in the public election system. And second, the court determined that the FECA expenditure ceilings as restrictions on First Amendment free speech should fall under strict scrutiny, and therefore it should be difficult for them to encroach upon First Amendment rights. Fast forward to today. Is McCutcheon's money a contribution or an expenditure? In Citizens United, a 2010 case, Citizens United attempted to run 3 ads that had a negative tone toward Hillary Clinton within 30 days of the 2008 election. This violated the electioneering ban in the FECA. While the court didn't explicitly determine whether or not this ban was constitutional, it did state, independent expenditures, including those made by corporations, do not give rise to corruption or its appearance. This set the stage in McCutcheon for the distinction between contributions and expenditures, implying that expenditures deserve strict scrutiny because they're less susceptible to corruption. This is an issue that the McCutcheon court will likely address in its decision.
Hello, this is fake news reporter Dane Kirchhoff Foster, undercover as a hobo, at the Marketplace of Ideas, located at the very heart of freedom of expression. This is where people come from all over the country to share their ideas and to compete for the attention of the general public. From feminism to racism to environmentalism to corporate advocacy and politics. This marketplace was founded largely due to the efforts of John Milton, John Stuart Mill, and Harold Lasky. However, this marketplace of ideas was not always so bustling, not until Justice Holmes' dissenting opinion in Abrams v. U.S. in 1919. And now the marketplace of ideas is routinely invoked in cases all over the country in defense of First Amendment free speech, and your ideas, whether good or bad, will always have a place.
Hi, do you ever wonder what people are smoking when they say that corporations are people? Well, my name is Sam Parker from SPEA News Channel 58, and I'm going to try to help you figure out the history of corporate personhood. The doctrine of corporate personhood says that under the law, corporations are seen as people. Under the personhood doctrine, corporations don't receive all the rights that people do, but sometimes it may seem as though they do. The first important case was Trustees of Dartmouth College versus Woodard in 1819, where the Supreme Court ruled that corporations had the right to contract and to enforce contracts. Then in Santa Clara County versus the Southern Pacific Railroad in 1886, and Pembina Consolidated Silver Mining Company versus Pennsylvania in 1888, the court flat out said it. Corporations are persons and deserve certain due process and equal protection rights under the 14th Amendment. Over the strong dissents of justices like Hugo Black and William O. Douglas, corporate personhood has now become a settled practice of law, which I believe is a bunch of bull.